Hello, dear friends. My name is Igor Gorky, and this is a V Country channel. And I want to respond, to answer two questions in my video. The question number one, how to understand Russia? I noticed that, just people in different Western democracies, they have some misunderstanding about Russia. I noticed the paradox that everybody know what is the Soviet Union. Everybody will tell. Just anyone can tell that the Soviet Union, it is a communist dictatorship, and it was a real danger, and it was a kind of a world evil. And basically, it is because the Communist Party, they declared the value of communism, of expansion of communism all around the world, and destruction of capitalist and democratic societies. And that this communist idea was based on terror inside the country and aggression wars around the world. So that's why everybody agreed that Soviet Union is kind of an evil. But then, when the Soviet Union did collapse in 1991, then plenty of countries uh, appeared on the territory of the Soviet Union, and the main successor, the Russian Federation, appeared as a successor of the Soviet Union as well, as a main part of the empire. And then, I mean, a lot of people, when you ask them or when you speak with them, they still cannot understand what is Russia, how to understand Russia. So that's why I want to make a short answer to this question so that it will be understandable for everyone. Uh, Russia, uh, in time, separated from the Soviet Union by a small transition period from 1991, the year of the collapse of the Soviet Union, in 1999, the I mean just 30 the December 31st, 1999, when President Putin came to power. He took this power from the hands of Boris Yeltsin, and he is a person from the KGB. So then it became clear what finally this part of the Soviet Union got transmitted to. So if the Soviet Union, the structure, the basic political structure of the Soviet Union looked like the Communist Party was the head of the country. It was the main ideological and political center. But the Communist Party needed to repress the people, and so to make just to keep the political power in their hands, they used a red terror against the society. And so the main tool, the main mean of this terror was the KGB. The KGB, it was like the hand. So the full political construction was of the head, which was the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, and its right hand, the KGB, which was executing the political terror in the country. So then, when the Soviet Union collapsed, formally, the democratic values and free market and economy was declared, and different political processes, they run in Russia, Russian Federation. So finally, the consequences of the process were as follows. Uh, the government declared the privatization of the state property. At the same time, it was declared that they are still forming the legal environment. So the privatization took place in the environment which was not legally determined. It was not exact laws. And so criminal groups, criminal bands in 90s were, they were visible on the streets of Russia. So they basically were the main, I mean, just um, ben- they benefited all this privatization. So in other words, the privatization was made by criminal organizations connected to the KGB. Finally, all this property, they came to so-called oligarchs or oligarchic clans, which in one or another way are related to the KGB. Then, during these years, during the period from 1991 to 1999, the role of the executive power grew up in Russia, and the executive power started to dominate over all other branches of the power. In other words, it was kind of authoritarian type of a political organization. It was created in Russia. And when it was finally transmitted from the hands of Boris Yeltsin, who uh, had been considered like the democratic leader of Russia, then finally the power was given into the hands of the person from the KGB, to Vladimir Putin. So then the Russian Federation looks like the political organism where the KGB is both the head, the political center of the decision-making center, and at the same time it is a hand, terror hand of this political system. So from this point, it's even more dangerous than the former Soviet Union. And that's why the consequences which we have to face right now, I mean, when Russian Federation attempt to these aggressive wars against neighborhood countries and right now threatens the world with the global nuclear war, it is basically the natural consequence of such political system. The only problem is that the elites and the Western governments, Western democracies somehow didn't recognize that the political process are going in the way which I just noticed. Why it happened? It happened, as I can understand, because one of the political changes which took place in the political transition from the Soviet Union to to the Russian Federation, it was that the Soviet Union was based on totalitarian type of the economy. So everything was under complete control and direct governance of the government. And in Russian Federation, the elements of market economy had been realized. And so from this point, Western democracies, Western businesses, they like smelled a lot of profits if they will cooperate. I mean, with the Russian Federation and with these entities which appeared on the territory of the Russian Federation. So they uh, like became obstacled by profits, uh, uh, and so I mean, just they were crazy. They became crazy for just extracting profits by making business with the Russian companies and on the territory of Russia, despite the social and political consequences, which inevitably uh, took place. I mean, as a consequence of this cooperation, because finally this kind of finally, I mean, just uh, uh, it brought the whole world to the situation of economic collaboration of Western democracies with the political autocracy, pretty much dangerous political autocracy, which was pumped up with the investment and with Western technologies, which finally made this political force capable to increase political repression inside country and then to start aggressions around the world. So the reason of such I mean collaboration between Western democracies, as I can understand, is a venality of the Western democracies. And now we face actually what we should face, because that's the only consequence and the result which I mean just um, could occur because of such a cooperation. The question is why the peoples of Western democracies were not informed about this kind of political transition, the dangerous political transitions which have been taking place in the Russian Federation. Uh, so looks like the venality dominated over the democratic values. So it means that it is still a lot of formality in the in the democracy, which is practiced in the democratic countries, and that's why the expert community also being affected by the government and business attitudes, they turned out to be blind to discover, to identify the threats which were generated in the political environment of Russia. And that's why we came to this point when, right now, the Western democracies found out themselves before the fact of the possibility of a global nuclear war. So the resume of, just this, of this phenomena is that there is no real full-fledged, independent and objective expertise institution in the world which can be objective, which can let peoples know, uh, just about these kind of dangers which are generated around the world. And so I think that the task of today is to um, organize, to find out, such kind of institution. So just like in this my video, I believe I try to answer two questions. The question number one, how to understand Russia, and the question number two, why did the Western community turn out be blind to understand Russia? Thank you for your watching of this video, and see you in my next videos. Goodbye.